I know. Everyone is telling you to pick a niche, niche down, get specific, pick your lane and just stay in it. You've been lied to. Don't pick a niche. Please don't follow that lie. Do what I'm about to show you instead. See, if you're over 40, you've been making videos into thin air, I bet. No idea who's on the other end, no idea who's even meant to be watching. You already know that this niche advice is just not landing. So in this video, I'm going to show you who you're actually talking to, how that person buys from you, and in what order to do it. You see, you've been sat with this question for months, haven't you? Who is this video for? Who's on the other end of the screen or the lens? Who am I really helping? What's my niche meant to be? I bet you've even typed it into Google. Heck no, you've gone as far as whack that into ChatGPT. And I know that you've definitely asked yourself in the car. And every time you get close to an answer, something in you goes, yeah, but who's going to listen to me, eh? But I bet you film it anyway. And it goes out on that Tuesday, and by Friday, 41 views, and one of those likes as well is your wife. And somebody from work goes, great stuff, mate. That's it. That's the whole return for a fortnight of your evenings. And you tell yourself, it's the algorithm, or is it the thumbnail? Or maybe I need one of them ring lights. It's none of those. Now, I did this too, okay? And I did it for longer than I like to admit. 10 years as a police officer, 8 years as a detective, trained to walk in the room and work out exactly who I was talking to before I even opened my mouth. Then 13 years running my social media agency, doing the same thing for other people's brands, reading their audiences and getting it right for them. And then when I finally turned the camera on, well, you see, I had a Facebook group during COVID called Tea with Steve, 1,400 people in there, all of them needing help and all of them getting it. And it barely made me a penny. 1,400 people, my friends. I mean, I could have filled a theatre, and I was talking into a room that I hadn't bothered to look at. Now, here's the thing that I want you to hold on to when we go through this. I've got a client who just made $3,000 in his first day this week against his $6,000 a month target. He didn't get any better at his job. He didn't post more. He didn't buy a new ring light. He changed one thing about who he thought he was serving. And the money, it just turned around in 4 days. And I'm going to show you exactly what he changed. Now, I said something on this channel a while back that a lot of you still say back to me in the comments. You are the niche. And I stand by it. You see, I was right, but I left a little something out, something that was quite important. And leaving it out is probably why some of you nodded along, felt great about it for a day, and then sat down to film and said, I have absolutely no idea what to say. And I told you to be yourself. Yet you might not have picked up on which version that was, because that is super, super important. Now, let me show you what I mean. This is the client I mentioned. He's a dog trainer, and I'm going to keep his name out of it. Full transparency, I haven't actually asked him if I could use it, and I'd rather just be straight with you than have his name pop up on the screen. You see, if you're over 40, like me, you'll understand why that matters more than anything. Now, here's the thing. On paper, this man had already done everything. I mean, everything that I've ever told you to do. And he didn't start as a dog trainer. He had a dog, his own dog. It wouldn't come back to him when he called it, wouldn't sit, wouldn't listen to a word he said. He stood in the field one evening shouting his dog's name into the wind while it just ran away, a bit like mine used to. So he worked it out for himself because he had to. 20 years later, that's his business. He is the niche. He lived it. He solved it. He spent 2 decades getting really good at it, and it stalled. Revenue dried up. Inquiries, they just went quiet. Now, he's brilliant at his job. That was never the problem. The problem was which version of himself he put at the front. He led with the method, training dogs without treats. This was his edge. That was the clever bit. So that literally went on everything. And you might have seen that or done that yourself. But that's not a person, is it? That's a feature. See, I'm a dog owner and I like giving Murphy a treat and making a fuss of him. So when a man turns up telling you the whole point is that there's no treats, he isn't talking to me. He's talking to himself. He answers a question that I never asked. So we sent him back 20 years, back to the bloke in the field, and he started talking to him instead. That's the key bit here. You see, my dog won't come back, my dog won't sit, my dog doesn't listen to me. Ordinary, boring even. Now, this is the stuff that people actually type at 11 o'clock at night when the dog's finally asleep and tired and you're at your wit's end. Well, he booked 2 calls this week. $3,000 in a day against a $6,000 a month target. He didn't get any better at training dogs, my friends. He stopped talking as the man who'd solved it and started talking to the man who hadn't. That's the whole thing. That's the version of yourself. Now, which version of you? That's the question here, isn't it? And it's not the one who can answer by sitting there thinking about it. I've watched people go around in circles with this for months, years even. So let's not leave you guessing at it. Okay, comment the word plan below and I'll send you my YouTube business action plan myself. It's in the pinned comment as well if you just want to grab it and get ahead. But here's what happens. Like my clients, you go out for a walk, you answer about a dozen questions into your phone, 20 minutes and you're finished. You send it over to me and I build it for you. And what comes back tells you which moment in your life you're actually building on. It tells you if you need money landing this month or money building for next year, because those are 2 very different businesses, my friends. And most people over 40 are quietly trying to run both at once, wondering why nothing moves. Oh, and the plan also gives you your first 12 YouTube videos to make in the order that you need to film them. So comment plan below. I build every one of these myself, so there's only ever a few spaces. So 2 ways people get this wrong, and I've done both, so I'm not judging anyone here. The first one is the loudest because it's the one that every guru says. Niche down, pick a topic, pick your lane and never ever leave it. And I want you to hear what that actually sounds like when it lands on someone like us. You're a teacher, so you're only allowed to talk about revision. You're a nurse, right, shift patterns, that's your lot. 30 years on the job and you're told to pick 1 drawer out of the entire filing cabinet and just throw the rest away. 4% of yourself. That's what they're asking of you. Now, that advice wasn't always bloody stupid. It used to be the only thing that worked because YouTube used to be the yellow pages. Do you remember that? Let me know in the comments. That great big fat book that's stacked by the phone. You didn't look up a person, you looked up a trade. Plumbers, builders, driving instructors. And if you were a plumber who also did a little bit of electrics, tough, because you got 1 entry and in 1 section, and you'd better get it in the right one. That's exactly how this place, YouTube, used to work. It read your title, it read your tags, it filed you under 1 heading and showed you to whoever was flicking through that page. And it actually doesn't do that now. Now it watches people who watches you. How long they stay, how long they go, and what they watch afterwards. And it goes on looking for more people who behave in the same way. Nobody's flicking through the book anymore, my friends. The book's watching you back, which means the thing that used to get you punished, being interested in 4 things, having a career, a hobby, strong opinions about something, that's now the thing that finds your people. And here's the bit that matters most. A topic never bought anything from anybody. A topic can't get out its wallet, but a person can. So don't niche the topic, niche the person. Now, this second one, it's a bit quieter and it gets nearly everybody. The problem is you pick who you are today. That finished version, the one who's got it sorted, who knows it all and who can stand there and be the expert. We all want to be that person. And because you don't feel like that person yet, you wait. That's the trap. Because you've lived it, it kind of feels obvious to you. You solved it years ago and now it's just how things are. So you look at what you know and think, well, everybody knows this. Who am I to make a video about it? They don't know it, my friends. What's obvious to you is not obvious to them. See, that's the whole gap that you're standing in. They've got the problem precisely because they are not you. They haven't lived what you live, so they can't see what you can see. And this is the part the 25-year-old with a ring light cannot touch. You see, Anyone can teach a subject from a book. We know this. Anyone can read it and repeat it back. That is not what makes you worth paying for. The people who buy from you are the people walking the road that you've already walked. And they're not looking for the path once read about. They're looking for the path once lived. Because on that road, you can tell them which way to go, but you can also tell them which way not to go. The wrong turns, the year you wasted, the thing that looked like the answer and cost you 8 months and $2,000 you didn't have. Yeah, I've been that guy too. The lad with the ring light can't ever give them that. He's never been down the road. He's got the map that somebody's drawn for him. You've got the mud on your boots. But here's what I want you to see. You see, those two aren't mistakes. They're the same mistake wearing two different coats. A topic, a finished expert. Both of them are a thing, and you can't talk to a thing. You can't help a thing. The thing has never once got its debit card out. There's only ever been one person you were meant to be talking to, and he stood there the whole time. You, earlier, just stuck. That's it. That's the niche. Not today, polished up and hoping. You back then in the middle of it all, in that field, shouting at the dog. So here's how you find him. You go back to something you actually lived through. And it doesn't have to be something big. You might have lost 2 stone for your daughter's wedding, or came out of the other side of burnout and now you're the most calmest, serene person in the room. You might have sorted your own dog out in a field. It doesn't need to feel like much to you. It's still the whole world to somebody who hasn't done it yet. Then ask what people already come to you for. Not what you fancy teaching, that's a mistake too. What they actually ask you without you ever offering. And then find where those two meet. You see, that overlap is your buyer, because they've got the exact problem that you already solved, and they will pay good money to skip years that it took you. You get them unstuck. And unstuck builds trust for you. And the trust is what turns somebody watching into somebody buying. Then you're not sat there on a Sunday night scratching your head wondering what to film. Now, if you'd rather have all this worked out for you properly rather than guess it, comment plan below, or check out the pinned comment. 20 minutes on a walk, and that's all I need from you. Now, one of my clients described this better than I ever have. She said, trying to build something over 40 feels like getting onto an escalator that's set a little bit too fast. You're not stood on a step, you're scrambling half a second behind, waiting to go over. And that resonated with me. And knowing who you're talking to doesn't fix that on its own, because you've still got the job, and you've still got the family, and you've still got about 40 minutes on a Tuesday night when the house goes quiet. So what actually goes first? What goes second? What can wait 6 months without costing you anything? That's what this is all about. And it's the reason most people over 40 never get past the first 4 videos.